What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm doing a $30 budget build of the new Fire King structure deck. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because Fire Kings just got some amazing support out of the new structure deck, and for the purpose of this video we're just going to be using 3 of the Fire King structure decks to be able to make this deck, which is amazing. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the new Sacred Fire King Garunix. This card is an amazing card that comes back over and over again, just like a phoenix. It has the ability, if your monster that was originally a fire monster is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or your hand, which is a great ability just to instantly get your boss monster on the field because a bunch of cards in this build will destroy your fire monsters. And if this card is normal or special summoned, you can actually destroy a fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your hand or deck, or face up from the field, except a copy of this card, which is an amazing effect that this card can even destroy your Fire Kings in the deck to make their effects go off. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the destroyed monster's attack it had there, until the end of the turn, which is a great ability just to make this card absolutely massive to OTK with. We then play 3 copies of Fire King High Avatar Kirin. This card is a definite 3-of extender in the deck and has an amazing ability that during the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can destroy one of their fire monster in your hand or face up on the field, and if you do, special summon this card, which is a great ability to be able to pop one of your cards to get a really cool boss monster out on your side of the field, so we can go for our new Garunix Eternity XZ monster. This card also has the ability that this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, then you can special summon a Fire King monster from your hand or graveyard except another copy of this card, then you can destroy 1 card on the field, which is a great effect to be able to pop a card on the field. We then play 3 copies of Legendary Fire King Ponix. Ponix is a 1-card combo in this deck, and Ponix is probably the best new support card that we got, because if your monster that was originally a fire monster is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. But the main effect we're going to be using on this card is if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Fire King Speller Trap from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability to search out the new Fire King Sanctuary so we can get to Fire King Island. This card also has a really good effect that during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed and sent to the grave, add this card from your grave to your hand, so you can use this card for resources like using it for your copy of Kirin to be able to recover this card later, which is super cool. We then play 3 copies of Arvada. Arvada is a definite 3-of in this build, and I absolutely love this card because this card helps out a lot because it's a monster negate, which is just a super cool thing about this card. We then play 2 copies of Barong. Barong is definitely a 2-of because this card is a great search card, and I really love that about this card. That has the ability that once per turn during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, add a Fire King card from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool effect to be able to use, especially with your copy of Garunix, because you can actually pop this card in the deck to be able to get a search during the next standby phase, which can be your copy of Kirin, which is basically full combo for the deck, which I absolutely love. We then play a single copy of the new Fire King Avatar Rangbali. This card is really a good 1-of in the deck. It's a spell trap negate, which is why we're just playing a single copy of it, but we can easily get to it, which is why we just play a single copy in the build. We then play a single copy of the classic Fire King High Avatar Garunix. This card is great for the budget build because this card is a board wipe and it's super easy to summon out to your side of the field, and I absolutely love this card in the build. We can play a single copy of Coach Soldier Wolfbark. We can search out this card to help us make a rank 4 play, which is super cool, or even go into link plays, which is an amazing thing about this card. It can let you target a level 4 Fire Beast Warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon in Defense Ocean, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos. It was included in the structure deck, which is why we're just playing a single copy in this build, and it's a great boss monster that we can summon out at 2,800 attack points, which is just super helpful. I absolutely love this card, and it's just a really good 1-of in the build. We then also play 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. It was the only other hand trap that we had besides Impermanence that was included in the structure deck, so you've got to play 3 copies of it, and when you droll your opponent, it basically stops them from touching the deck for the rest of the turn after they search, which is just super cool, making this card a definite 3-of in the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Circle of the Fire Kings. This card is a great 1-of in the deck because you can't search it with your copy of Ponix, which is why we just play a single copy, and it's even got Ponix on it from the very first Fire King structure deck. This card was actually the hint that we were eventually going to get Ponix when they retrained the Fire King structure deck, which is super cool that it dates all the way back to the original Fire King structure deck. But this card has the ability that you target a fire monster that you control and a fire monster in your graveyard. Destroy the monster that you control, and if you do, special summon the other monster from your graveyard, letting you tag out your fire monsters, which is just super cool about this card. We then play a single copy of Fire King Skyburn. Skyburn is great because it lets you pop your Fire Kings on the field and then pop cards on your opponent's side of the field, which is just really good, and I love that about this card. It just helps you just deal with cards on the field, which is just really, really nice. We then play 2 copies of Fire King Island. Fire King Island is a great 2-of in the deck because this card just helps out a lot overall, because if this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard or banished, destroy all monsters that you control, which is a little bit of a downside, but we have ways to protect this card. It also has the ability that during your main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field, and if you do, add a Fire King monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to search out the exact card that you need, like the new Sacred Garunix, which is super cool. And if you control no monster, you can special summon 1 Firewing Beast monster from your hand, which is great to be able to summon out a really cool boss monster like your copy of Sacred Garunix, or even the original Garunix. We then play 3 copies of Fire King Sanctuary. Sanctuary is amazing because this card is like terraforming for the deck, but better. It has the ability, when this card is activated, you place, not search, but place 1 Fire King Island from your deck face up in the field spell zone, which is a really cool ability. And it also has a really cool effect to protect Fire King Island. Then once per turn, if a card in the field spell zone would be destroyed by a card effect, then you can destroy 1 fire monster in your hand or face up on the field instead, which is a really cool ability. And once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, then you can immediately, after this effect resolves, Xyz summon 1 Fire Xyz monster using Fire King monsters that you control, letting you summon your copy of Garunix Eternity during the opponent's turn, which is so cool to be able to summon this card during the opponent's turn because it will destroy monsters. I absolutely love that. We then play 3 copies of Dark Hole. Dark Hole is really good as a 3-of in the deck, just to be able to surprise the opponent and deal with the field, and it's just a great card overall. We then play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. Tinky is really good as well in the deck as a 3-of, because this card helps you search your Beast Warriors from your deck to your hand, and also gives them all 100 additional attack points, which is just great. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Torrential Tribute, because you guys know with all this fire you need a little bit of water, and this card works out that it was included in the structure deck. This card is great in the build because when a monster is summoned, you destroy all monsters on the field, which is a really cool effect just to board wipe all the monsters off the field, because a lot of our Fire King monsters go off when they are destroyed, making this card a definite 3-of in the budget build. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is really good because this card stops monster effects and also locks down entire columns of spells and traps, making this card a definite 3-of in the build. So that's it for the traps, guys, and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we only have 12 cards for the extra deck because that's all we got out of 3 of the structure deck, but we have some really good options in here. So we're going to start off with 3 copies of Garunix Eternity. Garunix Eternity is our main boss monster we're summoning all the time, and this card is great because if this card is Xyz summoned, you can destroy all other monsters on the field, which is a crazy powerful effect to be able to use with your copy of Sanctuary to basically just destroy every monster on the field, which is just amazing. It has also a really cool ability that which you can detach a material from this card and then target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack points, boosting this card up to 3,500. It also has the ability that this card is destroyed while it has material. You can special summon Fire King monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials this card had, making it so it replaces itself, which is just super cool. I absolutely love this card as a 3 of, because it's so easy to be able to put on the board. We then play 3 copies of Coach King Giant Trainer. Giant Trainer is really good because this card burns for 800 and also lets you draw up to thrice per turn, which is just super cool. It does require 3 level 8s to be able to make this card, but you can make that happen in the build. We then play 3 copies of Diamond Direwolf. Diamond Direwolf is really good because it helps you pop a card on your side of the field and a card on your opponent's side of the field, which is just really, really good. We then also play 3 copies of Hita because this card was included in the structure deck, and it's just a really good card overall to be able to play in just about any fire deck, to be able to link summon, and it's a great card overall in this build. But that's all the extra deck cards that they actually gave us in the structure deck. But the nice thing is even in the full-fledged build of Fire Kings with either Diabellstar or using Dogmatica or however you're going to play the deck, you don't really go into the extra deck all that much outside of Garunix Eternity, making the extra deck not quite as important, which is super cool to be able to have cards like Garunix Eternity as the main focus of the extra deck. So you don't really need all that many extra deck cards for the full-fledged build anyways, which is just really nice. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you did enjoy the $30 budget build or the 3 structure deck build of Fire Kings. I absolutely love this deck. It's super fun. It's really cool to be able to just play all sorts of different Fire King cards, and all the new cool artwork is just super cool. I swear the new Fire King Garunix, Sacred Fire King Garunix, is basically reading like a custom card, which is just so crazy, and it's just such an awesome card. And definitely be on the lookout because we're going to do a bunch of different builds of Fire King on the channel, and definitely be on the lookout for those because this deck is fire. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.